Without further ado, let's get on in because we have two more incredible women waiting in the wing to share their stories with you. I want to welcome to the show two nurses who share more than just a profession in common. These two extraordinary women share love for helping others, for their family, and most importantly, they share a place in their hearts for Betty. Betty Brugman was from a family of 13. Yes, a family of 13. She led by example and found the good in absolutely everything. She was a proud wife, mother, grandmother who adored her family above all else. In 2003, Betty was diagnosed with ALS and lost her battle in 2005. Here to celebrate the life legacy of Betty, please welcome her daughter, Diane Bolger, and her granddaughter, Molly Robinson. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on. We are so excited to have both of you here and to share and let's talk about Betty, especially during this week, because as we were talking, Diane, this is the anniversary of your mother passing. So this is a really special week and this is a great way to sort of honor her. So start us off by telling us about your mom, your grandma. Tell us about Betty.
Well, Betty was a wonderful person, and she had nothing but love for her family, not just for myself and my siblings, but all of her grandkids. But like I said, she's from a very big family, and they were all important to her. She had 6 sisters and was very close with all of them. Many of her immediate family passed away when she was, fairly young, actually, probably in her 40s. So she was very, very close with her sisters. So, yeah.
Just an extraordinary woman. And I really love doing this show so much because I get to hear all these great stories. And when you were telling me about her on the phone, it was just the stories, you just exuded so much excitement for her. She just sounded like a truly incredible woman who's done some amazing things with just loving and supporting people. And I think that's really, really special.
Yeah.
And so she was a nurse. So I heard when we were talking, this is kind of a family, I don't even know what we call this, but this just runs deep in the family for your love for helping people because you two, as we said, are both nurses. And obviously there's a passion for that in your family. So did that come from Betty? Is she the one that inspired this career path for both of you?
So my grandma was a great caregiver. Obviously, she raised 7 beautiful children, and she took excellent care of my grandfather as well. But I actually was inspired by my aunts, Diane being one of them, and also my Aunt Mary Beth. They were the nurses in our family, and so I kind of watched those two help take care of my grandmother when she was diagnosed with ALS, and then also the hospice nurses. And so I really got to see the excellent care that my grandmother received. And so I was really inspired by them and by her own, how she battled her disease. And so I got to kind of see that. And I was kind of at a transition in my own life. And so seeing her go through that and the great care that she got kind of pushed me to go into a career in nursing. So it's kind of a silver lining if you look at it that way. So she received really excellent care, and I know that there's a lot of inspiration that a lot of people received from that.
I love that you say that, Molly, because it's true. I mean, there are so many sort of negative things we can focus on with something like an ALS diagnosis. And it's crazy how something as awful as that can lead to so many great things like this. I mean, this brought this whole new path into your life. And now you have this incredible career as a nurse and you get to help countless other people. And that came from this whole negative situation. I think that's really, like you said, beautiful silver lining.
Beautiful. Yeah. And my grandpa actually was a great caretaker as well. So he took excellent care of my grandmother during the illness as well. So, and he was one of my good cheerleaders trying to get me into nursing school. So I have to give him a shout out as well, I guess.
I love you guys are just seem like just a whole big family of just, I mean, you guys are meant to be caretakers. There's no question.
Yeah.
Because it's not even just you two.
Oh yeah. There are 8 nurses in our family.
I mean, yes, you guys are caretakers to the next level. I love that. Well, after the diagnosis, you had mentioned that your family came together as caretakers, like we were talking about. What was that experience like, and what did you learn from, I guess, a new role that wasn't so new, but this role you all had to step into together to be there and rally around your mom and your grandma?
Yeah. When my mom was getting weaker, and my dad had been her sole caretaker, we all kind of took turns, I guess you would say, going to spend time with her. We wanted, first of all, give my dad some respite, but also we didn't want to miss a minute with her while we had her, knowing that her life would be shortened. And so consequently, well, our family became closer. That is one thing. But I have 3 sisters. And well, I think we were doing this even before that, as I know we were. But we have spent a weekend every year for probably 25 years together as sisters. And so we were already doing it before Mom was even sick. But afterwards, it even gave us more closeness. And we get together, and who do we talk about? Our mom. And all of her wonderful virtues, and of course, how much we miss her and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I think that's one of those beautiful, as you were telling me, she leads by example, and she set that beautiful example for you of how important family are, how short life, really is, and what matters most. And you took that and you ran with it.
Yeah, we certainly did. And I mean, we've got brothers too, so it's not the same as a woman thing, of course, but our whole family has really pulled together. And the next generation, Molly's generation, same thing. I mean, it's easy to be close with the people your own age, but this next generation is close with everyone. I think there's 16, 17 grandkids, Molly, something like that. And yeah, I mean, everyone just cares for everyone. And if somebody's having a hard time, everybody's there to give them support. Yeah. So, yeah, it's really made a close-knit family.
That is so beautiful. Family values, absolutely the most important thing. So beautiful. Well, Molly, so this was kind of, Diane, the way that you are with your sisters, and that finding your mom's inspiration, letting her lead by example and picking all that up. What was it like for you, Molly, to see your grandma? Maybe just what inspired you about her, or what lessons or examples did she show you that have stuck with you to this day?
Well, I think probably the greatest lesson that my grandmother gave me is she really taught us how to love. Really, the door to her home was always open. And holidays were a big deal, especially like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And they lived in a small house, but it was always filled to the brim. And we had stairs and tables downstairs, and everybody was packed in. And it wasn't just family that was invited, it was friends of friends of friends, and nobody was turned away. And Christmas, she always wanted to make sure everybody had something to open, even if it was just something little. And even if somebody was invited and she didn't actually personally know that person, it was just, an acquaintance of somebody that didn't have anybody else to go, she wanted to make sure they had something to open. And so she just really, really taught us how to love. And I think that's the greatest lesson that she gave us.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lesson that we can always need reminders on. We can never forget with everything that's going on in the world. That is just, it's beautiful. And it seems simple, but yeah. Just love. Just love. How about you, Diane? Is there any fun moment or memory that really just sticks out in your brain about your mom that you want to share?
Well, today I contacted my sisters, because I wanted to make sure that we were all kind of on the same page. But anyway, our mom, she was a very beautiful woman. And she always took really great care of herself. Kind of reminded me of Queen, but not quite to that extreme. However, even though she was weak and very weak, couldn't really do a lot of things for herself, she always had her hair done. She had her nails done. And when she went into hospice, she had to wear her silk pajamas. So she would look beautiful at the end. But even before that, kind of a funny little anecdote was that there was a point, where she could no longer swallow very well, but she always wanted her little glass of wine, no matter what. So, there was no question about it. She was somehow going to get her little glass of wine. So.
Love that. A woman on a mission.
No kidding. I think it helped her to feel a little bit like her normal self. Okay. Things that she had done. So when everything else was kind of melting away. So.
Oh, wine and silk pajamas. I mean, what more do you need?
Yes, I know. Very dignified. The nurses in hospice were very impressed. So.
I love that. Well, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, Molly. You were saying with the silver lining, but like we were talking about with Queen and John earlier, there are so many sad moments in ALS. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've cried over just hearing some of these stories. This is tough stuff, but there are so many beautiful, beautiful moments and silver linings, like we pointed out, that come out of this. Is there any other things that we didn't sort of touch on yet that came out of Betty's ALS journey? Molly found your dream career. What other beautiful things came out of?
I'm sorry, you cut off.
Oh
no. What I was just saying, what we've talked about some silver linings that came from this, but are there any other just beautiful things that came out of such a horrible disease, a horrible thing that came down on you? What other good things came from Betty's ALS journey?
Oh, I think we kind of just talked about it, just bringing our family closer and being involved in the ALS Association, being a part of something bigger, looking forward to the walks every year. I think probably bringing our family closer was the biggest thing. So.
And I think she taught us that you can have something really not very nice happen in your life, but she never, ever complained. She was like Queen. She accepted it, learned to live with it. And I think that her faith, which was very strong, for both her and my dad, that kept her going. And I was with her the day that she was near the end. And she was at home, but she was kind of in a staring mood. And kind of out of it a little bit. And so she sort of came out of that little place. And I said, "Mom, are you okay?" And she said, "I was talking to my mother." And it just touched me that she knew she was close and she wanted to see her mother. Her mother died early, pretty young. So yeah. So it's just interesting, the things that you go through and how much that means to you. But she was obviously missing her mother. So, yeah. I don't know, Molly, did you know that story?
I did not know that story. And I guess missing your mother towards the end of death is actually something very natural to do.
I would think
that's
so.
A very beautiful story.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
I know. I'm getting a little bit choked up over here. I just think I said it before. I just can't say it enough. I said it when Queen said it. Your mom having this attitude and being hit with something like an ALS diagnosis, I cannot even begin to express. I'm just so in awe of the way that your mom, the Queen, that they can take this on and still remain so positive and still have such strong belief in their faith and all of the things that keep them going. I just find that so incredible. And I don't think that's anything easy at all. I think that's a testament to how incredible your mom was, how incredible these people are that are battling this every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. And she had things she wanted to finish in life. One of my youngest sister had moved to Tucson, Arizona, and she had never been to her home. So she was a few months before the end, but she wanted to go to make sure my sister Jane was settled and had her home was there and everything was A-okay. And she and my dad went to Arizona to see my sister in her new home. And, it was just like unfinished business for her. And she had to do it. So, yeah.
Well, like we said, a woman on a mission.
Yeah,
she had a mission and there was no stopping her. There really wasn't.
No, there was not.
Well, you guys brought up some great things that this did. And I think one of the things that stuck out for me when I was talking with you, Diane, was the fact that you said this is purpose. You guys found this new purpose between the walks, but to step up and decide to be ALS advocates, to keep Betty's story alive, to keep inspiring people. And that's what you're doing. So how have you found it? What are you guys doing to keep that story alive, to keep raising awareness for ALS?
Molly, why don't you go first?
Well, I was just going to say, we're getting ready to do our walks coming up. Diane has hers coming up in July, and we have ours in Minnesota in September. So it'll be our 18th year doing walks, which is huge. So it's been wonderful. So our team is Betty's Butterflies, and that's something that we've really enjoyed being a part of as a family. Diana and I have been able to walk together, which that's what I prefer to do. But because of distance, we've had to separate. But we have butterflies all across the country. So we have little teams represented. I think we counted 6 different states. And some of our family members have actually done some of the ALS rides on their bikes before too. So it's been wonderful. It's been really great to be out in the communities promoting and raising money and trying to continue to raise awareness. So that's what we've been up to.
just no big deal. That's running a fantastic 18-year run of Betty's Butterflies.
Yeah, it has been a long time. We've gone through several sets of T-shirts for our family.
We have, yes.
Wow.
Probably due for another one, Molly.
Probably. We keep.
I wish I would have preemptively asked you guys, and we could have seen the T-shirts throughout the years. As they've progressed.
Yeah.
18 years. That is massive. That is so amazing. I want to ask the same question to you guys then. So you've been doing this for so long. How have you seen the progression? What has it been like over the years? How has it evolved as time's gone on?
Well, I would say for my contingency, sorry, Molly, I don't mean, go ahead. We started out, I used to live in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And there was no way I wanted to go down to Chicago to do their walk. That was just too far. I mean, as the crow flies, it's 60 miles. So, it'd be taking you a couple hours to get down there. But anyway, so we just went to one of our local parks, got our friends and family together that were living in the area, made some signs, collected some money, and we walked. And we did that for about 2 or 3 years. So we kind of did our own walk, but then sent the money in. And then Milwaukee, our daughter and Molly were both living in Milwaukee at the time. And so they started talking about the walk up there, and they thought that might be kind of fun to do. So we all headed up to Milwaukee. And I don't know, how many years do you think we did that? About 4 or 5, probably, Molly? Something like that. Yeah. And once they, for our part of the group, once they started in Rockford, the very first year we went there, and we continued with them. Now this year they're in Byron, but Rockford was more central for most of our family that could come. So anyway, so we're still doing it. Did mini walks, of course, the last couple of years with the pandemic. And we're going to do mini walks again this year because it's just hard for people to get together. So, but that's okay. We have fun in all of our different places we go. So
yeah, you're just spreading the love. You're spreading the butterflies just even further out.
We're trying.
Yeah. And obviously you must love it because you keep coming back year after year for 18 years. So what is maybe some of the highlights of the Walk to Defeat ALS?
Well, it was just, go ahead, Molly. Go ahead.
I love you guys both have so many amazing things to say.
Go ahead, Diane.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that the walks in Milwaukee were fun. They were a lot of fun, but they were huge. I mean, they had beer tents at 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I don't know. And they're selling brats and, typical Wisconsin foods and stuff. And that was a new deal for me anyway. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but there were so many people there. But anyway, we had fun. We had fun every year. The 1 year over in Rockford, it poured rain. It was horrible. It was absolutely a torrential downpour. So we were all soaking wet, stayed around for the raffle, and went out to a restaurant to eat.
We're getting don't judge the Wisconsinites.
Yeah, that's my daughter. That's my daughter. She lives in Milwaukee.
We won't judge you, Diane's daughter. We won't. We love the Wisconsinites.
So Molly, go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Molly.
Yeah, go ahead with your. Yeah, I'm talking too much. You didn't give me the signal.
No, I'm just happy to see your face. I was just gonna say I feel like they've gotten bigger over the years. My first one was in Minneapolis, then I did a few in Milwaukee with Diane, and then I actually have done a couple. I went back to Minneapolis. I've done a couple with my Aunt Kay, who lives in St. Cloud. So I met her in Minneapolis, and I've done one in St. Cloud with her. But then the last few have been in Rochester, and it's been great to see more people signing up, even in the smaller towns. So it's been good to see more people out there walking. So
yeah,
I love that. I love that we're growing in the right direction, and we just keep spreading the word and getting more butterflies to come in and champion on behalf. And speaking of that, before we go, I want to know, because I think there's such a beautiful story behind, how'd you get the name for your walk team, Betty's Butterflies?
Well, originally, so our first walk was when my grandmother was still alive. So I wanted to choose a name that really represented her. And to me, I felt like my grandma was fighting her disease like an iron butterfly. She was always a very petite woman, but when ALS kind of took over her body, she became very frail. But on the outside, but on the inside, I felt like she had this amazing inner strength, and she was very courageous, and she just fought a very great battle. And so I felt like she was fighting like an iron butterfly. So that's why I chose the name Betty's Butterflies. And I also see a butterfly as a sign of hope. So I felt like it was a positive message. So initially, that's why I chose the name, but I feel like that name has kind of evolved over the years, as we talked about. Now we have all these teams across the country. So it's kind of fun to think about that we have little butterflies all around. And of course,
is there
now
time for one other little story?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, this was a few years ago, but I was on a walk in my neighborhood, and I went, it was probably about 2 miles long. But anyway, I get to the first part of the walk, and this butterfly comes and landed on my forearm. It stayed on my arm the entire 2 miles, and then it flew away. And I just, I was in tears, but it was just, I knew that was a symbol for my mom. And I gotta stop.
Gosh.
She was with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was.
Absolutely. She was with you every step of the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I want to leave everybody watching with one more thing, in your mom's honor for Betty. What would you say is your mom and your grandma's legacy?
I would think the love that she left for our family. It's now down. There are great grandchildren, in this family from them, and they're the same way. They're just as loving and wonderful as they can ever be. And I just really think that's what, well, it was basically her and my dad, but yeah. I'm sure Molly probably agrees with that one. So,
I completely agree.
yeah.
Oh, well, the love. Well, that is so beautiful. And every time we see a butterfly, I say we just, hi to your mom. Say hi to Betty every time we see a butterfly.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Well, I love that, ladies. Thank you so much for being here, especially on such a special week.
Oh, thank you.
In honor of your mom, we'll keep sharing her story, and we'll keep fighting for Betty. We'll get closer.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. And we will see you on July 10th at the Northern Illinois Walk, or at the mini walks. You guys will be doing your own mini walks coming up in September. Yeah. So cheers to Betty's butterfly. Thank you, ladies, so much for everything you do and for continuing to share the story and share the love.
Thank you. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.